I was in college for 10 years, so I studied, I was like the Renaissance guy in college that studies everything from the Conservatory of Music, art history, chemistry, physics, the hard sciences, psychology, philosophy, sociology, anthropology, I mean, ding, 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 across the gamut. Physical education, everything. Biology. And because of that, I had kind of a broad picture on things, that I could realize that all the experts in all the specific fields of education that seem to think they know what they're talking about, they were in conflict with one another in their own disciplines and with other disciplines. A lot of arguing, bickering, fighting. I'll guarantee you the psychologists don't see the same world that the chemists see. It's a different world. They emphasize different things in those disciplines. And I simply got to the point where I thought, what's the truth? If everybody's purporting to say, I know the truth and this is the way it is, ministers, scientists, educators, everybody seeming to have their version of what's real and what's true. And I simply stepped back further and further, simply saying, what if truth is an experience of harmony and love and joy that's beneath all these separate little assumptions about the world? What if nobody's got it right, and there is an experience that's way down underneath all of the assumptions that are there? So I just dedicated my life to going to the bottom of my mind and reaching a point where I could say, I am clueless about this world, but I am happy, because there is another way of looking at the world that is given me from the Holy Spirit.
When you're in a situation where Karen is talking about being with children like that, your parents and everything, when you're in that situation, what is your thought and your intent at that time, when you were working with those people?
Yeah.
What is your thought and intent at that time?
It's really involuntary. Like, I'm in a state, miracles are involuntary. So I was just sharing that I was over in Spain, Canary Islands, and I had these two little girls that had just been taken out of poverty conditions in El Salvador and adopted. And they were jumping all over me and speaking Spanish to me, and we were in a moment of glee and joy. And I find that wherever I go, I mean, even what people consider like poverty kind of conditions, like in Argentina and the rural areas and different places, ghettos and places I go, I'm simply there as the presence of love, and so it flows through me in a very gentle way, and also it's very involuntary. You know, I'll be going around giving out hugs. To give you an example about like a poverty condition like you're talking about, when I was in Argentina, I went around the big cities like Buenos Aires, and the economic conditions were so difficult there that little children, you know, from maybe this size on up to early teens, were at the street corners where the stoplights were, going out and juggling, doing anything they could, washing windshields, you know, to get a couple of coins so they could take it back to their mother, so she could feed the kids. That's a good example of that. And I was going around this city of 15 to 16 million people, where I would see this very commonly on the street corners, very much what the world would call a poverty condition. And my host, her name was Christina Maria Uar. I call her Mary Christ Uar. She was hosting me. She was very telepathic and was translating all my talks over there. She would go around, and as we would drive through the streets of Buenos Aires, she would have her little bag of coins to give the kids at the corners, and little bitty angels with the coins. So she would go and give the children that would do the little juggling act, or you know, a little coin and a little angel, and they would be so thrilled with that angel. They, you know, they needed the money to take home so their mom could feed them. But they'd go, I got an angel over here, guys! I got an angel. You know, it was like a lot of religious symbols in South America, I mean, in Latin countries. So we went around doing that. Another, what the world would call poverty condition, we were going to a gathering and we pulled up to a railroad, and just when we got there we were going to do a gathering, the wood thing came down, ding, 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 and we sat there just in peace, and then the thing never went up. It just stayed down, this big wood board. And we sat there just laughing, saying, oh, well, we'll see how this one's going to play out. And meanwhile, there was a woman behind us that kind of drove her car up to the side of us, and she was very impatient. She walked out on the track, and she was looking, where's the darn train, you know, and very much in a hurry. Then she went back eventually and had this teenage boy come and try to lift the wood trestle thing up, and he went to try to do it, and it cracked, it broke. So now the thing was broken, laying in the ground, and she actually got up and moved her car and ran over the corner of the thing that was laying there so she could get by, you know. And people were honking and this and that. All the while this was occurring, a woman came to us with babe in hands, very hungry looking, and just came to our car and just looked in, like, didn't say anything even, kind of gave us a look of, do you have anything, please? I need to feed myself, I need to feed my baby. And there we were, Maria, Christ, you are, and me, in there with our little coins. She actually was getting some paper money, more than coins, to this woman, and everything. And then, eventually, the woman left after we gave her the money, and I said, I told the group later on that I spoke at, I said, that was what the whole thing was about. It was just that holy encounter where we could share that money with that woman. It wasn't anything about the railroad, the thing being broken, or whatever. It was just all orchestrated as just an opportunity to share love. And that's really what every situation is. Whoever we meet, whether they seem to be hungry, or they seem to be thirsty, whether they seem to be unloved and calling out for love, you know, love me. This is what Mother Teresa was talking about, that it's really about tuning into that love that's within us and then letting the love move through us so that we do what's most helpful in that given situation. And there's no manual for it. People watch me sometimes when I'm walking through inner cities. And sometimes I'm giving money to people, sometimes I'm not. I have to let the Holy Spirit be the one that knows what's the best, most helpful thing in a situation. I'm not about trying to make this into a moral thing or an ethical thing. I'm not about trying to make this into a formula. I'm saying that there is an appropriate response in every single situation when we're tuned into that love. And what we do in that instant is for the whole universe. It's not just for that person that's in front of us. It's for the entire universe. So, in answer to your question, it's really a course in purifying your heart. You know how Jesus said, blessed are the pure of heart and the Beatitudes, for they shall see God. It's really about coming to a purification of your heart, of your core, and then letting the Spirit flow through you in what would be most helpful and appropriate.
Karen working with children, Mother Teresa working with children, same thing. It's the intent that she brings and the love she brings.